All right, just a sec. Setting things up. All right. So I'm just going to wait a sec for AKC if he's actually coming. We'll see. Where are you at? This might take a bit. So I'm going to set some stuff up. All right, well, if anyone's here, just let me know. And I'll probably just upload this after on YouTube or something, because that's really all I can think of for this. So in a nutshell, now you can edit CarData. It's nice because I was doing camera data and it turned out that I had to do matrices, so I kind of left that for a bit. But if you Google, okay, so I'm going to show you how to edit. Okay, cool, you're here, good. All right, so editing the CarData is pretty easy. All you gotta do is, step one is we're gonna download the source control. So if you Google F0GX stage editor, GitHub, at least for me, it's the first entry. And if you click on it, again on GitHub, it's Stark Nebula F0GX stage editor. So that should be pretty easy to find. On this page, like, you could actually download the source control and stuff like that, but it's probably best if you just go over here. So instead of clone, you can do download zip. Just download that somewhere on your computer. I already did that. It's a really small file, but I already did it. And so if you go and extract that, oh, I just realized you're going to need Unity. So that one might actually take a little while. I mean, again, I'll save this. I'll save this repo or this video so that anyone can go back and sort of look at it. Okay, so next step would be, let's go download Unity. You can just download Unity. Here, let's do it the old-fashioned way. Google.net Unity game engine. You can go to download. Right, so you can choose your version. So you can just, oh, why am I going to the API page? Good. Right, so over here, you can just use personal. So let's try personal. You know, agree to their stuff, download the installer. So this is version 2017.203F. I'm gonna save that as well. And this one's pretty easy. So yes, I want to allow it. I'm actually running 2017.1 for the project, so that one will work as well. This one will work. I mean, I'm not actually going to go and install this actually, no. You know what? I will. So you don't actually need like any of this. You don't need the IPL, you don't need the Android build, you don't need standard assets, and you don't even need mono develop. All you need is the straight Unity. Oh, right? That's 1.6 gigs. I mean, for myself, because I actually develop with this stuff. I might actually go do that. Right, and then where's my Unity? Oh god, let's make a no. It's great UI. Unity 2017.2.0F3. All right, so you can save it. I mean, if you already, the default path that it gives you is pretty fine. Yeah, so Unity itself isn't actually all that big. And the project itself is probably like a couple megabytes. Again, it's not a lot. So anyway, while it's doing that, I'll sort of, I don't know, we'll see how good are you on time. Downloading 4 megabytes a second. Let's do some math here. 2.5 divided by 2500 divided by, that's what, half a megabyte a second. Yeah, no, my math doesn't check out here. Okay, it says 10 minutes. I'm debating whether or not I should just continue. Let's see if I can even open Unity at this point. Yes, no, maybe? No. Yes. Cool. All right. Well, I'll sort of do an overview and I'll go back to it, I think. So here's our project. There's the README, the git ignore. And this is actually sort of, I don't even know why this is there. Because That's a broken git ignore. Oh my god, really? Okay. Let's open this up with a different program. Open with WordPad. Yeah, okay, good. So sort of just to explain, in source control, you don't want to save absolutely everything. And so there's a couple of folders expressly for this project. Excuse me. There's a couple of folders expressly for this project that get ignored. And so that one is assets/personal. And so that's sort of where we're going to stuff all of, oh my god, okay. I'm almost going to sneeze, maybe not. Sorry. So there's a couple of folders where we're going to stuff all of our F0GX files in. And that's because we want to use them in the project, and so we want them to be close at hand. But we don't actually want to save them in source control because technically we did not make them and we do not have the copyright to them. So for each project, you sort of have to go and put it in yourself, kind of a deal. So assets/personal is probably where we're going to put it. Unity doing some fun stuff here. Downloading documentation. So that's good to know. And sort of the way, as a base rule, the way Unity works is that you have in your project, so if we go in the master, there's the Unity project folder. In there, this is the Unity project. And assets is sort of where you put everything. All of the assets they use for a game, whether it be code, textures, materials, models, all those things. But you kind of try and organize it so that it's not chaos. And the project right now is a little bit unorganized. I'm trying to like get through. But to do that, I kind of like need to finish 2 other file types and like go back and fix another one. But I keep like working on something else, which isn't really good. But anyway, so be it. And so you'll see that there's, there's the GameCube, games, F0GX, and that's sort of where we have our stuff. And we have, this one's going to be what we're going to use. It's sort of CarData. But before I get too far ahead, what we're going to do is in this F0GX stage editor Unity project folder, in assets, create a new folder that is capital P personal, if I can type personal. And just to double check, PERSONAL is indeed, is it indeed? Where's WordPad? Yeah, PERSONAL, capital P, right? It has to be exactly written that way. I mean, this would be ideally if you're actually committing, and while you might not actually be, it's sort of good to have that done. And in here is where we're going to put our card data. So for now, it's personal. You do whatever you want. And so for this example, I'm going to do all lowercase card data. And the next thing we're going to want to do is actually get our card data file. So on the side here, I got my own stuff with all of my assets and whatnot. So what you want to go do is go find the, I guess there's many steps and I'm kind of skipping some, but for now it's fine. Right, we want the decompressed CarData file. So I'm not going to talk about GCR, and I'm not going to talk about gexpand and all those things that you sort of need to actually get to that. But I have it over here. So I'm going to stick it in that folder, right? You know what? Actually, I'll just stick it in personal because there's so little stuff going on. All right. All right. So it's 22 kilobytes once it's decompressed. And it's just going to sit there in personal. And we're going to wait another just couple minutes. I shouldn't have downloaded the rest of this stuff. It's just that I actually use this, right? Okay, so under personal, you have CarData. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to here. We can go to scenes right now. It doesn't actually matter. You can just, once you have Unity installed, you can double click on one of the .unity files. It's a scene. It will give you a warning. Actually, no, it won't, because we'll be on the right version. Here, actually. Quit. Finish. Cool. So we'll do it this way. In here, you can go open, and then go find the project that we downloaded, right? So inside the master, if you click on the Unity project, you can just hit select folder and continue. It'll give you a warning because you're using a different version than the one that it was like last used with. But we're not doing a whole lot special. So we shouldn't break any assets. Usually it only breaks assets if you go from a newer version of Unity to an older one, then you have problems. Assertion failed because... Okay. Assertion. Yeah, okay, so you might get a couple of these errors and maybe a crap ton of these warnings. Okay, so actually, first things first. This is probably going to look different to you. So first thing you're going to do is go to the layouts 2x3. Not because it's better, it's just because that's what I use. You can also double click on that there, sort of have things move. And you can also middle click to remove tabs or close tab with a right click. It's actually pretty good. For now, we don't actually need any of this stuff. We don't even need a hierarchy, do we? Cool. So all I have open right now is the project window and inspector. And I'm actually going to add back the scene window, but just put it on the side just because there's a lot of empty space and it's weird. Okay. And you can also drag this open. So project actually just shows you like the file structure. So like all the folders and all the files in it. And down here under the assets, you can increase or decrease like the preview for stuff. I always just use a text preview. I find it easier to use. So now if you go to GameCube and then games and in F0GX and then in CarData, it's pretty good. We already have this object made. But it's got some values in that we don't actually want. And that's because it was from like when I was making it, I was testing stuff. So we're going to sort of reset this. So we don't need a source extension. The file mode we want is open or create. The file access is read write, and the file share, I think we can leave it at none. And we're going to debug the save path. Actually, yeah. So up top here in window, you can do console or Control-Shift-C on Windows, and it will give you that window that was scary. and you can just hit clear. That's fine. So this object here, CarData import export, is an object in Unity that I've created that has, when you click on it, you can inspect the object. So that's what the inspector is for. So these are scripts, so you can sort of preview what the text is inside that script. We only really care about this CarData import export. If you wanted to too, you could actually create with a right click, create F0GX.io, and then CarData import export. We could actually make a new one of these. So I'll actually, I'll use that one for the sake of this project, or example. Right, so again, file mode, open or create, file access, read write. No extension. Okay, so the source path, if you click on that, I got like this little browse thing going on. All you need to do is go to assets, and then personal, and then select folder, because we're looking for a folder. And so now we have an import path. So it's going to grab stuff out of the source path, and then put it into this import path. So we're going to want to go into personal, create folder, and we're going to call it import, and we're going to create another folder and call it export. And you can probably guess what we're going to use that for, right? So our import path is also a folder. So in assets, under personal, import. And then for our export path, we're going to go to assets, we're going to go to personal, and we're going to go to export. Right? Cool. So file name is actually already set up for us. It's CarData, LZ, because it's unpacked from GXpand. And then it's really straightforward from here. So everything should work when we click import. Can't talk. Right? So once you've set up the source path as personal, the import path as your personal import, and your export path is personal export, then you can just hit import. And it'll give us a little message down here in the console that CarData imported. So if we go to personal and we go to import, we have a whole lot of files. One is CarData, LZ, but it's not like a text file, it's a .asset. So if you actually right click show in folder, you'll see it's a CarData, LZ.asset file. So it's a Unity file type. And it has all of the vehicles in the order that they're stored in the file. So you got Red Gazelle up until 30 Black Bull, then 0 Dark Schneider, and then 31 Fat Shark until 40, right? So all of the AX vehicles. And then on the rest of them, on CarData, you have the actual values for everything. And you can kind of go through and sort of see everything. It's also cool if you shift select all of them, you can see all of the values that are constant between every file. So the machine name pointer is always 0, unknown 3 is always 0, and then all of the sort of box values, all of the height values are constant between absolutely every single machine, right? So that's cool. We can sort of see that and know that that's what's going on. Right, so what you can do is if you wanted to, and I'll do this as an example, I'll go through, strange. All right, anyway, I guess that's a bug in the new version of Unity. You can't like shift, like the shift doesn't actually select the values between them, which is strange. At least that's the case for me here. And I'll just leave, you know, these vehicle things fine, right? So this is probably now the worst machine ever. Okay, so we have all this imported data. And all of these bits of data right now are referenced in this CarData, LZ up top. So now if we go back to CarData and click back on our CarData import export object, you'll see that our export data, we can even click on it, is CarData, LZ, which is the one we made. It automatically references the one that you've generated, which is nice. And then all you have to do is click export. And then if you go to your export, this is great. So you'll see that there's nothing right now. So if you click on a different window and click back in, Unity will refresh. I still have to figure out how to tell Unity to sort of refresh its file system when I create a file. But now we have it, and we can do show and explore, right? So if we double click, let's open it up in a hex editor. And then we can even go and open up the OG CarData, right, in the hex editor. So this is the original, and this is the copy, right? So you can see that the first values are nulled. And if we go straight to the end, you'll see that it ends at the same offset with the same values, right? Because it's only modifying like the top half of the file, really. But cool, right? So basically, at this point, once you've exported your CarData, you're good to go. All you have to do is repack it with GXGMA, and then patch it into the ROM with GCR, and then you're good to go. And that's really it. So that was like a long-winded explanation of like step by step, if you will, skipping a few steps. But that's all you need to generate a CarData file, right? So the nice thing is, it's just three things in Unity. It's the CarData import export, which really just like manages your whole thing. And then your personal folder with your original file, and then in import, it's everything you've imported, and this is where you modify the values, right? You'll modify all the values in this. And then in export, that's what you've generated from your import data. The only thing to note is that if you accidentally click import, it'll overwrite everything you just created. So that can be good and that can be bad, right? So what I would recommend, I guess, if you're just going to use this for just this reason, is after you've imported all your data, you can just shift select all of it, like, right? You can create a folder called, oh, my bad. Create a folder. You can just call it like CarData, right? You can go grab everything in your import, shove it in your CarData. You can actually call it like custom CarData, right? So you know that this is what you're working on. And then just edit everything in here. Because then if you accidentally hit import once again, it'll just put it back in the import folder and all of your changes will be clear. The only thing to know is that it'll reference a different CarData, right? So if I hit import, you know, this is my custom CarData. This is my imported data. But then on the CarData, if I click on CarData right down here, it'll reference the one in import. And then if you click that the little circle on the side here, you'll see that we have two CarDatas, right? And our original one is the top one. And that's not, it's not really what we want. I mean, what you could do is you can rename it. There's no problem in that. You can call it like custom underscore CarData LZ, right? And then in your import, if you want, you'll see that it'll call it custom CarData LZ, right? The thing is, if you go to export, oh, does it rename it properly? Just gonna go check quickly. Well, the question about the custom parts is that I don't have any data to work off of. If somebody gives me what the custom parts are and how they're structured in the file, yeah, I can put them in. That's not a problem. It's just I don't have that data, and I'm not willing to go do that because I have, I'll say, more important stuff. But there's like getting everything else in. Why was it doing this? File name. Yeah, okay. So when you export, it's always going to call it its proper name. So if you hit export, it'll export this data, and it will always call it CarData, LZ. So that's pretty good to know. Yeah, so that's that. If you have the file structure for custom parts, I would be glad to put that in at some point. But until I'm given it, I won't be working on it, if that makes sense. Cool. So I'll leave it up for a couple questions, and then after that, I'll actually go do work that I've been neglecting. So I'm looking at chat right now if there are questions, and so far no questions. If anyone's got questions, let me know. Well, I mean, okay. So if no one's got questions, that's fine. You can always reach me like on the F0 Discord, because I'm on there. Otherwise, cool. So that's like a quick and dirty, not totally fully explained how to import export CarData. You can generate them fine. Actually patching it in, you'll need to know how to use GCR, GameCube, Rebuilder, and GXPand to decompress the actual GX files. But otherwise, you'll be good to go. All right. Cool. All right. This is done now. Bye, everyone.